Welcome to the Moments That Matter podcast. I am your host, Laura Escamilla, and today we're welcoming our friend, Yara Doyle. She's the Director of Operations for the Food Bank RGV, and she's been with the organization for 10 years. We've known Yara for many, many years. She's also a mom. Our boys played baseball together. And what we're going to do today is a little different. As the holidays are approaching, I wanted to discuss how high school students and college students can make a positive impact in the community, and especially with the food bank. I know we have a lot of food insecurity right now, especially around the holidays. There's a great need. So I was hoping you can tell us about the mission and the work of the food bank and how it supports individuals and families in our community.
Thank you very much for having me. Yes, I have been working at the food bank for 10 years now and started as a food sourcer, now Director of Operations. So our food bank services 3 counties, Hidalgo, Cameron, and Willacy County.
Mhm.
We're 20 food banks in the state of Texas, and everybody has their counties that they serve. So we serve those 3 counties, and we're serving about approximately 76,000 people weekly.
Wow,
And
that's amazing.
it's a lot, yes. And it's people that work everyday, normal people like ourselves that are not able to make ends meet or have to choose between paying a bill or feeding our
Grocery.
families. So that's where we step in. We help reach that gap in between paydays to help give a little bit of assistance on that side. So hunger has changed, and it's in our area, it's very sad because there's a lot of undocumented people as well, and they don't qualify for any benefits whatsoever. So they're literally starving to death with their families.
Right. And that's such a shame. But I know I never even knew the term food insecurity. I don't believe. And then now, especially I think since the pandemic, it's been a huge issue. But even on college campuses, I didn't even realize that colleges had food pantries
Right.
and things for their students. I
Yes.
just didn't seem fathomable.
We had an old board member of ours, the previous president, a couple of presidents back, I guess you do
Mhm.
TRGV, and she noticed that students were actually living in their cars. They were
Mhm.
actually homeless and didn't have anything to eat. And so she actually started the pantry at UTRGV. And so we're very grateful to her because we're able to help that. I believe STC has one as well, and
Is that something
UTRGV
that
in
you
Brownsville.
provide support for through
We
your
do.
food bank?
We do,
That's
yes.
amazing. Like I said, I can't even imagine that there's children. I mean, because I still see college students as our children
Right.
that don't have food,
Yes.
or even just one meal
Right.
to have.
Yes.
It's
It is sad.
unconscionable.
It is. And the senior population is really the one that really hurts me the most because I think they get forgotten. And a lot of them don't have any food, or they'll save the one loaf of bread in their freezer. And it's
Or maybe
heartbreaking.
family who makes the time to
It's
help to check
heartbreaking.
on
Mhm.
them. That's so sad.
Yes.
Well, thank you for all the work that you do and your
You're very welcome.
organization does. Can you tell me a little bit about how high school students or college students, as they're coming home, going on holidays, have a week off, maybe how they can help in these initiatives? I know you take volunteers. I'm sure you need lots of hands to get all this food out.
We do. Actually, volunteers are our biggest asset. And pre-COVID, we were really lucky in volunteers. And ever since that, it's really slowed down. A lot of people maybe are still afraid to come and help.
Mm-hmm.
We have never shut down because we are first responders during any type of disaster, but we are always open. And so a great way for students to help other than volunteering is also food drives
Mm-hmm.
and or monetary drives. And I can go into detail about that a little bit
Sure.
more.
Yeah. So talk to me about the food drives. What
Okay.
can they do with that?
They can start just a simple food drive, even if it's just a classroom. I tell everybody a small donation is so much. People say it's only a few things. And I said, well, that few things means the world to somebody that has absolutely nothing.
Right.
So there's no food drive that is too small. We did have a campus in Edinburgh, Economedes High School, that used to do a spoon drive. They would sell a spoon and then you would pick the monetary amount. So it was like
Mhm.
a monetary drive of $1 up to $5. And then
Mhm.
they would post all the spoons on their wall. And then at the end of that
Mhm.
time, they would turn in all the money. And it was a really nice drive that they would have, and they would have it every year.
That's awesome. I know many years ago, when I worked in Austin at the Austin American Statesman, we had done a monetary drive. And what we did is everybody donated, not money, but we got a lot of sandwiches together and chips, and we made bag lunches. and we sold them for essentially $20 a bag. So it was like your lunch money, like give us your lunch money and we'll give you lunch. And yes, it was just a sandwich or whatever. But instead of the employees going to lunch that day, they gave us $20 and they ate lunch. It
That's
was
a
a
great idea.
sandwich and a chips and a soda,
Right.
which cost us probably just dollars, but everything got donated. And then all that money we donated to the food bank there.
Wow, that's
And that
great.
was like a Christmas type
Right.
event.
We do get a little bit of a bump in the holiday season, Thanksgiving, Christmas, but hunger is all year round for
Right.
us. And our largest push, where I try to really push donations, is the beginning of summer
Mm-hmm.
when the kids are out of school, because that's where we
Right.
start seeing the hike in the need.
Right.
Right now, we're seeing the hike due to inflation.
Mhm.
So at the food bank, I also do all of the outside food distributions, and I have a Colonia delivery program as well that I manage. And we have noticed a huge increase in the people in line to get the products. So
Right.
it doesn't seem to be slowing down for us. It seems to be getting a little bit higher with
So the
time.
need is the volunteers
We
and
do.
the supplies.
Yes.
So you talked about also a monetary drive. So different ways the
There's
students have done that. Do you have any examples of that? Or?
just that one from Economides High School. We hadn't really had another one since then. We do have one ongoing with HEB right now. And I don't know if you've noticed, when you do pay,
Oh, it asks you
it
if you
asks
can.
you if you want to
Right.
donate. So that is coming to the food bank. So that's another way that they can also help.
Okay. Can you talk to me about jobs or opportunities to physically go in person and to help?
Definitely. We have several different areas that anybody could come and help. In my department alone, we try to pre-bag produce before we take it to distribution, because a lot of times it takes us a longer time there to do it. So we try to pre-bag.
Yeah, smart. Okay.
We also have a kids produce marketplace. We call it. It's a traveling van
Mm-hmm.
that travels to underutilized schools, and the children get to go by and pick. They get a little 10-pound bag and they get to pick their own vegetables, but it's a lot of preparing before that.
Mm-hmm.
So we could definitely use help with that.
So the volunteering opportunities, are they on the weekends or during the day? What does that look
Right.
like?
We accept volunteers every day of the week. Some Saturdays we do have some openings, and usually I believe it's about 5 o'clock when they end. Now, if there's a special group that needs to come in at a special time, she can set up a special event for that.
So
to
if
come.
there's an organization like the cheerleaders at a school or a group of athletes that want to go and volunteer, that can be organized
That can
during their
definitely
time.
be organized. On our website, I believe she can set you up for a specific time to come in.
Okay, that's good to know. So we're talking about this, and for me, I'm big on giving back to the community. I work for a nonprofit myself, and it is great for students. I want to emphasize that volunteering is great for the resume, for the college resume. It's good on paper to look good, but I also want students to start planning and parents to encourage their students to start making an impact in their community, because we're the ones that make things happen.
Right.
You can't give all this stuff away or do everything without the support of the community.
That's correct.
And I really want to emphasize that. And can you talk to me about other opportunities? And, you mentioned doing food drives and raising money, but is it only food that is accepted? Or if somebody wanted to donate, obviously you take monetary donations from individuals or
Definitely.
other.
Monetary donations go a little bit further for us, as we're
Mhm.
able to have better buying power with that money,
Mhm.
or we're able to buy product that's a little bit lower price than we normally would.
Okay.
So monetary is definitely a bigger help to us. And we definitely do accept pretty much any kind of product. I source everything from furniture to
Oh,
health
okay.
and beauty to pet food.
Does it all have to be brand new?
It has
or-
to be brand new.
Okay.
But those, when I say source, I source from the retail side. I
Mhm.
ask them for everything, because we have somebody for every single item that we have.
Mhm.
People that can't afford to buy the basic necessities of food can't afford to buy deodorant, shampoo. We help a lot of the homeless veterans that
Mhm.
don't have any furniture. So a lot of the mattresses and stuff go to them.
So if people bought, say, blankets or things of that nature, or deodorant or
Right.
other things, non-food items, brand new, they could donate
Definitely
those
donate,
things.
especially during disaster. So we are first responders during that time. So we're always looking for new items, like the flooding that they had in Port Isabel or Laguna Vista.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
we can always find a home for it. That's for sure.
Okay, that's great to know. And do you have anything specific towards the holidays that you all do that's special or different? And is there any specific, I guess, dates or times or things, your events you're working on that you could use volunteers for?
Yes, we're actually having a nighttime distribution, a Thanksgiving distribution. It's 1,000 family distribution,
Mm-hmm.
November the 15th, and it's in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
So that way families that are working are able to come. Most distributions are during the day, but a lot of the working families can't make it.
Mm-hmm.
So we try to do them from 5 p.m. to 7 or 7:30. So we can hopefully get those that have to work. So we're going to be able to support them with a turkey and a holiday meal
Oh,
where they're
that's
able
amazing.
to make everything for a full meal, along with some fresh produce and some other items.
So
So
you could use volunteers
we need
definitely
volunteers for
or to
that.
prepare
Yes.
for it, I'm sure, ahead
To
of
give
time
out the
and to give
food
out then.
on that day.
Okay, that's amazing to know.
Mhm.
And do you do something similar for around Christmas?
We
and
do.
the-
We'll have
okay.
another evening distribution in December. I don't have the date, but I do have the one for November.
Okay, but
Mhm.
we can share that when you
Sure.
give it to me on
Definitely.
your website. And the volunteer positions, is there any age requirements? Do you prefer?
I believe they said 17 and younger have to be accompanied by a parent
Okay,
or a class, if it's a class, and a teacher, a
supervisor.
supervisor of some kind. We also have special needs groups for those that have special needs children. They can also come, but they have to be accompanied by a parent or a teacher.
Okay, that's great. Can you talk to me about any stories? I know you mentioned, we talked about the food insecurity at college campuses. Is there anything in particular that stands out to you that students would be affected by that will kind of encourage them to?
Sure. We had a student at PSJ ISD. She was noticing at her campus that a lot of the students were throwing away good food or apples or fruits. She started to partner with somebody at her campus, and the campus got a hold of us to see how we could work together. So that program was the first start of a school district that started to donate their leftover food.
Oh, okay.
So because of her and what she saw, we started with PSJ ISD, and now McAllen ISD supports us, La Jolla. We have Edinburgh ISD, Levia. So
Mhm.
almost everybody around the food bank now.
Wow.
The school districts, especially when they are ending the school for holidays,
Mhm.
they have a lot left over and we'll pick it up or they'll bring it by. So it's been a great opportunity and a good partnership with the school districts.
Do
as
any
well.
restaurants do that? Is that common?
We have some, but
Or grocery
restaurants.
stores?
We
or-
do. We have a little over 100 retail partners in our 3 counties. That's
Mhm.
actually more now with the Dollar Generals. There are over 200 stores in our service territory altogether. So we're able to get donations from them. That's
What
where
a
we,
large endeavor to collect. Just,
It
the
is.
collection of it, and then you're not
It
even
is.
discussing the distribution
That's
of
a
it and
different
getting
part.
it out.
Yes.
Wow, that's amazing. I know, and it was a long time ago, but Isaac, you remember the pool in our neighborhood where we grew up? We grew up in the same neighborhood. You could, in the summer, you would take a canned item, and we didn't think much of it. But now that we're talking about
Right.
this, it'd be like, I need to grab a can of green
like,
beans and take it to go get into the pool for the day. Do you remember
Right.
that?
That was the
Isaac?
best.
It was
I
the
love
best that I could
That's
just grab something
amazing.
from the pantry
Yes.
and go to the pool for the day.
Right.
And to me, I
It
don't
did
even
make
think
you're like, why am I
was a
doing
kid and I
this?
don't think I even realized
Well,
it.
Laura,
But
I've been at the food bank for 10 years and I've seen a lot of sad things. In March, I started the new Colonia delivery program, and that has really been an eye-opening experience for me. And being there and working every day with people that really need help,
Mhm.
these people are literally starving to death. They have nothing. So we actually we go house to house in a colonia and deliver
Mhm.
a fresh box of produce and a 5-pound bag of protein. And it is the world to them because they are literally starving with their family. And I have not seen that before. And that's because I work in the industry.
Right. And I have that feeling. And now I'm looking at it, right, with a bigger picture now that we're talking, but trying to help students go to college and kids that don't have support and don't have their family. And we're talking about thousands of dollars they're trying to gather to go get an education. But there's people in the world that just want a meal. They just want to have.
want to eat.
They just want to have a meal. And that's kind of overwhelming at the moment to think about
It is.
that we have a podcast about getting your kids to college and there's people who just want to have a
They
meal.
just want to eat.
Yeah. Kids. And the
Kids.
thought of that there's kids out there that aren't getting a meal.
A lot of people.
And I know that was big during COVID that schools were giving out meals and they
Right.
were, from what I remember, Isaac, right, that they were picking them up and they were going. And
Mhm.
It was very successful.
Yes. Yes, it is. In the summer, I believe they still do that. In
They
the
do.
summer, they still have that meals they could pick up,
Yeah.
which is a great help for us. We recently opened a resource center in Mission. So it's a little smaller food bank, and it also helps the Boys and Girls Club. Kids can come and get a snack after school. So we're trying to be a little bit more proactive, trying to help as many people as we can. Of course, we know there's probably still a lot of people we have not
Right.
been able to reach. The Colonia program, I've only been able to be in Hidalgo County. I haven't even ventured to Cameron or Willacy
Hmm.
because of the time constraint. We're working on it and working the kinks out because I've had staff that's got bit by a dog, another one
Oh
that
my
got a gun
goodness.
pulled out on them in
Yeah.
neighborhoods. They're not used to having anybody go
Go
out and
out
help
there.
them. So it's going to take us a little time to get them.
And I think that these stories and these revelations of people out there are so important for our kids that probably take their lives for granted. I know my kids
Right.
do, and we provide the best we can for our kids, but
Right.
sometimes they're like, I don't have this or that. And
Right.
just puts things in
Yes.
perspective. And that's also, I think, more important than a resume, more important than what that looks like is just having perspective
Right.
on what that looks and what
It's very
little,
humbling.
right,
Mhm.
and what a little effort, a little time can do
Right.
to make a difference.
For every hour that a person volunteers, it equals up to 105 meals. Every single person that comes to help just for a little bit of time makes a big difference for us, at least, that
So,
we're able
okay,
to help
say that
get out more.
again. 1 hour equals
105
105
meals
meals.
per person. So if 3 went out, that's
315
315
meals.
meals. Mhm.
That's very impactful.
Yes.
And I'm glad you said that. And that one individual, if I'm there for 2 or 3 hours, I can make a tremendous impact.
Huge impact.
Right.
And just once.
Just
You're not
once.
talking
Right.
about
Just once.
an hour of your day every day.
Right. And we have older people that come every day to help that are retired
Sure.
and want to
Mhm.
make a difference. And they do. They make a huge difference. Yeah.
Right. And I imagine a group of very fit teenagers that can
It's
move.
very good for me.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
because
they
on
could
that on
just-
the distribution side, it's very hard for us.
That's amazing. And share any opportunities for that 15th day, like time slots or anything we can share with the schools. We'll be happy to do that.
Sure. I believe it starts at 5:30. We usually like to have everybody there at 5. If you go to our website, which is foodbankrgv.com, there's a volunteer section there and they can sign up there if they're able to make it. The more people we know that are coming, then it'll be easier for us to manage how
plan.
many lines we're going to have.
Now, do you see teams go out there like student athletes? Because I know that I've seen our basketball team go out and do things,
They've
for
done
the community,
sandbags,
and I've
during
seen
that
them-
kind of
Right.
stuff.
haul away brush after
Yes.
storms
I-
together.
I think what's been a little bit more difficult for students that are in high school is the timing, the time frame for them to come. It's a little harder for them because they're in school.
Right.
We do see a little bit more of an increase during the holidays, which is wonderful. And towards the end of Easter, when they're trying to get their hours for school.
Right. And this is the reason that we're having this discussion because they have a full week Thanksgiving and they have a full month at Christmas and a full week of spring break. Like you said, if they can just spend an hour
Exactly.
for a few days or 3 hours one day,
That
they
is a
can have a huge impact. And if they go with a
Yes.
couple of friends,
Right.
they can make a huge impact. Or their family goes,
Right.
or, it doesn't have to be.
We also have a community garden too, if they like to work outside, which is great because they
Mhm.
can help us out there glean or help the garden.
Yeah.
We have families that actually go out and work the little area. They each
Mhm.
have their own little area
Section.
garden section, and they take it home and eat it, or they sell it at community gardens. So
Yeah, that's amazing.
great.
I know Skylar's sorority in college at Baylor, on Saturdays they volunteered, but they would go clean up a garden, I think, once a month or something, a
That's
group
amazing.
of them. I think it is so important that they give back to the community. And as we're talking about scholarships and we're talking about all these things, they improve the way they look to the community. And I think they get a better sense of where they come from because, as you mentioned, we have a lot of immigrants in the area. We don't know that our kids get exposed to everything that's
Exactly.
out there.
Mine don't either. I force them to go. Justin helps me at disaster distributions, and he's
Mhm.
like, "Wow, Mom, I didn't know you could lose everything in a
Mhm.
split second." I said, "Can you lose your life as well? You need to just grateful that we're still here and we're
Mhm.
able to help. And when you get the chance, you help as many people as you
Yeah.
can. You
Right.
know,
It's a matter
that's
of
what life's
perspective.
about." Mhm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So a few great things we've learned today. One, that you don't have it covered all the time as far as food. You do need help with donations for food very often. I think a
Always.
lot of people take for granted that, they've got it covered. People give them stuff and they're okay. That's not true.
That's not true.
We can always give more, even if it's small amounts,
Yeah.
and they add up to something that is meaningful. And two, that monetary donations go a long way because you can source food and materials. Also, that we can donate new items like deodorant, sundries, like personal
Yes.
hygiene products, things of
hmm
that nature, things
hmm
that people may need. And also that you're there in a disaster every time. You're always available.
Hunger is a disaster in itself.
That's
Yes.
that's incredible. So I've gotten a lot of great takeaways
Good.
from today, and you've really opened my eyes as far as perspective.
Also, addressing the misconceptions or stereotypes of what hunger looks like. Yes, we did talk about the most needy. As you mentioned, people struggling day to day to get paycheck to paycheck. They have jobs, they have families and homes. They just need a little help because, as we all know, our dollar is not going as far as it used to.
No.
And I think that is so important to realize that sometimes could be the family, their friend. Nobody knows who's getting help or
getting
who
help.
needs it.
Right.
You
It
could be helping your neiber or your friend in class. You have no
Right.
idea.
The
Yeah.
face of hunger is very
Right.
different.
And no matter what, you're serving your community and you're helping the people that live around you.
Right.
And
And the good thing is that money or anything that's donated to our food bank stays to our people in this community. So
Mhm.
it doesn't go out of here. It helps in the
Not
three
a
counties.
national.
No.
Yeah, that's good to know. I remember you used to have a area for teachers also.
We
Do
do.
you still have
Yes.
that
It's
store?
called a School Tools Program.
Yes.
And it's for elementary teachers right now. And it
Mm.
also that has to be in an impoverished, I believe it's 95% impoverished
Mhm.
area. And the teachers get to come once a month to shop for their students.
And for
And
that,
it's
you accept also donations of
Yes, we
school
do.
supplies?
Actually, in the summer, we usually have a kickoff. That's
Mhm.
where the need is really in the beginning, but she does it all year round.
okay,
And
great. And I guess the follow up to that is, what type of items do you prefer for that
She
particular endeavor?
prefers, because she was telling me the biggest items are pencils, crayons, folders, spirals, like the main,
The consumables, the
Mhm.
greatest
the
hits,
greatest
the
hits.
things that the kids use
Right.
every day.
That they use every day. And I believe they come in, the teachers, and they get to choose what their class may need.
Mhm.
Right. So I love that program as well.
I'm glad you let us know about that. That's
Yeah.
great.
And I'm saying, because I know a couple of years ago I ordered 1,000 highlighters for my office and
Mhm.
they had the wrong website on there and they were fixed and resent. But what do I do with 1,000 highlighters? And
Right.
we
You
donated them.
donated them.
They're
Mhm.
brand new
Right.
and they were in packages.
Even if
but
they
what do
weren't,
you?
it was still okay.
Yeah,
she'll
but
go-
1,000. What do you do with 1,000 highlighters?
Yes.
Right. So I was just curious if that is still available because
Yes,
that's
it is.
also important for
It is.
our teachers. Need so much support also.
Yes, they do.
And you mentioned the program for students, you go to the schools and you give out you let them pick out vegetables and stuff. Is that a specific school district?
Specific schools, they also have to be in an impoverished area. I'm not exactly sure how they get on that waiting list,
Mhm.
but that's probably one of my favorite programs because the little kids are so excited and the little bag is so cute and they get to choose what
What
they
they
want,
take.
what
Mhm.
they get to take. So on top of the food sourcing or the retail sourcing, I source all of the produce for the food banks. We have a lot of programs that depend on fresh produce. So
Mhm.
we're able, thankfully, get a lot of produce to give out, donate it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's really great.
Mhm.
So monetary donations go a long way to getting
And just
fresh produce.
Yes.
also, if
Great.
you're at HEB, just pick up a little coupon and
Yes.
and donate something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. They used to have the little pull tabs, remember?
Right.
I remember
It's
that.
I remember
$1
that.
Is it just on
Now
the
it's
screen now?
electronic on the screen. So we're like, darn it, because you can
You
kind of
feel
see
the-
them
yeah.
sticking,
Right.
sticking out. Now you have to really look at it to
Right.
see.
Attention.
Well,
Right.
sometimes if you see the guy in front of you do it, you're
Yes.
going to want
Yes.
to do it too.
Right.
So that's very encouraging.
Right now is a good time for that. And Walmart usually has one too during Spark
Mm-hmm.
change, but that's already passed. But you can always see them on the screens. Mhm.
But
I wonder if
just-
they're going to include it in the way we go curbside,
Yeah.
just for everything all the time.
I wonder.
If
I
there's
don't
a
know how
checkbox
that
for
works.
seen
that.
I
that, but
don't
that would
know.
be nice to
Probably not.
Yeah, to add it at the end would be
HEB,
nice to
if you're
add.
listening, maybe you can add that
Right.
checkbox to the
That's right. I never
curbside,
thought about that.
because
Good-
so
that's a
many
good
people
question.
use curbside exclusively.
Pay at the
Yes.
end. Yeah.
HEB's a great partner of ours. Yeah.
Fantastic.
They're really great. Mhm.
I imagine they do so much
They
for
do.
the community. They support our scholarship
They are
as well.
really great with us. Yes.
Well, great. Is
Great
there
company.
anything else that you feel you'd like to share that we didn't cover? We had a long list of questions, but I feel like we addressed a lot
I
through
think-
answers.
We did, and I wanted to touch base on how important it is for them to get back to their community And if they do get the chance to volunteer at a food distribution, it's good so they can see how close their neighbors are or can be or can become food insecure very easily. A family member getting sick, a loss of a job, it could be any of us in a brief moment. And it's good for them to see that we're there to help. So hopefully they can come and help us.
Yes, absolutely. Would you share your website again?
Sure. Food Bank RGV as in RioGrandeValley.com.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your
You're very
time, Yara. I appreciate
welcome.
you sharing.
No,
We
thank
learned a
you.
lot.
Yes, we
Good.
learned a lot. Thank you. This is great
I
information.
hope you both can come volunteer.
We will.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We will.
I'm
Thank you.
actually thinking of all the ways I can get Lucas to go with us. Yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna
It's
bring
important.
people too.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Thank
I'm
you.
glad.
Thank you.